Hey there, hope you had a great week last week. It's Fabio, and today's video is all about how I passed the phase 2 with Alpha Capital. So obviously last week I created a video on passing the phase 1. If you have not yet checked it out, make sure to do so. But today we actually are going to showcase exactly how we passed the phase 2 of that same account. So again, full transparency, showcasing my entire account metric dashboard with Alpha Capital. Going to showcase the exact trade that I took. The entire trading strategy. So again, full transparency, just so you can learn from my mistakes but also from my success, and that you have a clear understanding for how a successful day trader actually becomes funded and receives those payouts. So with that said, let's just dive straight in. All right, so we're inside my account metric dashboard here, and as you can see, again, the start date was the 1st of October, day of recording is 6 October, account size again 100k, and the equity was passed with $105,026 reached. So if we just scroll down again, looking at the most interesting metrics, you can again see number of trades taken were free, with the average lot size being free. Well, the reason for that is because if we just quickly refresh the page and we look at the dates of the trades taken, I took a first initial position on Tuesday for the trading days, and then on Wednesday I reached already the 5% gain that I needed to with a $-yen long, and then on Thursday again another trading day passed here with a EUR/USD long position. So what we're going to do is we're just going to dive into this $-yen position, showcase the exact strategy and thought process behind taking it. Again, this trade was just shared live inside Discord, so if you want to get these kind of trades as well, make sure to join, link in the description down below. But yeah, with that said, let's just dive onto the charts and dive into the trade itself. All right, so we're inside TradingView, and I'm going to break down the entire trade for you. So first of all, before we look at the trade itself, I just want to showcase here $-yen looking for a long. So already well before taking the trade, I already had in my mind, okay, Fabio, we're going to be looking for a $-yen long. This is the entry criteria that we want to enter it with, and this is the fake supply, this is a target, this is where the stop loss is going to be. All of these things, I already thought of them beforehand, and all I needed to share from that moment onwards was, okay, $-yen, we're looking for long, and we're targeting that fake area of supply. Now, why was it fake supply? Why did we take that long? Let's explain it in a second. Let's just do a top-down analysis here real quick for you. So overall, if we look at $-yen, what we can very clearly see is that the overall momentum on, let's say, the daily swing was definitely bullish, right? This is a low, this is a high, this is a higher low, this is a higher high, and this is now a new potential higher low before, of course, swinging this further in towards the upside. Now, when we then look at the actual market structure itself, there is something to say that at the time the daily was in a bearish market structure if we just focus on the smaller market movements, because what we had here was an initial break in towards the downside, and then after that we saw another break in towards the downside after breaking this low. So at this point in time, you could say that this is your swing low over here, and this is your swing high, and this is then the highest point over here, which broke this low. So overall, you could argue that the market was in a bearish trend, right? However, there are a few things that you need to understand in order to trade successfully with these kind of pairs, and that is liquidity, guys. Liquidity is the single most important factor when taking these trades. Yes, obviously over here we saw the break of structure, but after a break of structure, what do you expect? You expect a pullback in towards the upside. So at that point in time, what I'm looking for is, okay, where is liquidity in the market? Did we already see liquidity gain? Now, we had an area of supply over here where we saw this initial wick reaction in towards the downside here on the daily time frame. However, if you want to take a short in towards the downside from here, you need to also identify liquidity. Now, we have a very clear descending trend line, and if you follow me for some time, you know that I always like to identify trend line liquidity. So for me, above this trend line, that is where liquidity lies. So we still have equal highs, and an equal high over here, which I'm looking to get taken out here on $-yen. So based on the daily, I was still happy to look for some further upside to liquidate the early sellers and get them out of the market. Now, looking here at the 4-hour time frame as well, what you can then see on the 4-hour was that the market, in my opinion, was still bullish. Overall, we saw a bearish market in towards the downside, and from this point onwards, we actually just saw one big impulse in towards the highs, a correction, and now we were looking for the next impulse up to grab liquidity above this overall descending trend line. So at that point in time, again, looking for further upside. Next, that this initial push down was caused by a news announcement. So again, with these kind of news pushes down, you will always, let's say not always, 7 out of 10 times see that they just get filled again and pushed pushed in towards the highs. Again, as well, with this push down, this for me is just a fake push in the sense that there is no liquidity in the overall push down. Therefore, liquidity is positioned above the high itself, and I therefore see this as a fake S, a fake area of supply. So enough confluences for me here on the 4 hour, but also on the daily to look for those potential longs. Then next to that, we use market structure shift to identify those potential longs. So what I had here was a market structure shift in towards the downside. Here, a market structure shift in towards the upside. So at this point in time, we again come in towards the downside, push up, push down, push up. Then we see another push up. This is your fractal high. This is your fractal low. We then see a retracement into where? Into pretty much exactly the premium versus discount level, the 50% mark. So we saw a 50% retracement. Again, enough confluence for me to look very long. We know the 4 hour fractal is bullish. We know that this is fake supply, which should get taken out. Therefore, again, looking for those potential longs. I then went on towards the 1 hour time frame, and what we identified here was the exact confluences which I needed for that long. So what we identified was, again, a liquidity low over here. So we can see the wicks grabbing liquidity. We had a fresh area of demand over here as well. So demand is then validated by the market structure shift in towards the upside. So this was your fractal high here on the 1 hour. It broke this fractal low, push up, push down, push up, like this, and then pull back. And then on the double high break here on the day itself, which was Wednesday with the London Open momentum, I was looking to long and to take out that fake area of supply. And then what you can see is that the momentum kicks in. I placed my stop loss safely underneath the lows, and from that point onwards, I was happy to look for the long. And as you can see, the target got hit. I think it was that evening, the same evening, literally for a 1 to 3.36. Personally, I exited the market a little bit earlier due to the fact that we already had a 1 to 2 risk to reward, which was enough to complete the challenge. All right, so we're now back inside the Alpha Capital dashboard. So we're just going to check the exact inputs for my entry, stop loss, and TP. So as you can see here, the average buy price was 144,186. So we just go back into here, and as you can see, entry price 144,186, profit level 146,515. To be honest, we closed it a lot earlier because we already passed the challenge a lot earlier. So what we can see here is that the take profit was set at 144,994. So again, we just enter here 144.944, and the stop loss was, let's see, 144,185, 144,185. This is because it was edited inside the position itself. So the stops were a lot closer actually, because the overall position was a 1 to 2 risk to reward. I remember indeed the stop loss being around a 40 pip stop loss. So a 1 to 2 risk to reward was approximately what we needed for the position, as we risked 2.5%. And as you can see, pretty much just a perfect position. After the high break, just pushed straight into our TP for us to pass that Alpha Capital challenge. So this is a trade breakdown. As you can see, this was all we needed in order to pass the balance needed, the 5% target. Minimum trading days were passed, profit was passed, max loss, literally no loss at all. And the max daily loss also all passed. So another great challenge passed. On to much more. I hope you were able to gain some value from this video, and I'll see you in the next one.